easy solutions to the challenges we face. But there's no doubt in my mind we've got the capacity to meet them. Think about everything that we have going for us here in America. We've got the best workers. We've got the best entrepreneurs. We've got the best scientists. We've got the best researchers. We've got the best colleges, best universities. Got a Buckeye guy right here. We're a young nation with great diversity of talent and ingenuity. People come here, want to come here from every corner of the globe. So no matter what the naysayers tell us, no matter how dark the other side tries to make things look, there is not another country on earth that wouldn't gladly trade places with the United States of America. So what's standing in our way is not that we don't have the ingredients to make the 21st century the American century just like the 20th. The problem we've got right now is our politics. The sort of uncompromising view. The notion that we should be going back to what we were doing that got us into this mess in the first place instead of going forward to achieve a brighter American future. It's that old top-down economics that we've been hearing about for years. The old discredited idea that if we somehow get rid of more regulations on big corporations and give more tax breaks to the wealthiest Americans, that somehow that's going to lead to more jobs and prosperity for everybody. Ohio, you know better. I know better. We know this country wasn't built from the top down. It was built by the middle class. It was built by farmers and factory workers and startups and small businesses and companies that send American products overseas, not sending American jobs overseas. That's what built Ohio, and that's what built America. And that's what we're fighting for. That's what we're fighting for right now. That's the economy we need to build together. And I promise you, we will not get there if we adopt these ideas that somehow spending more money on tax cuts for millionaires and billionaires who don't need them and aren't even asking for them is actually going to improve the economy. We tried that. It did not work. Now, despite the evidence, the entire centerpiece of my opponent's economic plan is a new $5 trillion tax cut on top of the Bush tax cut. Now, the bulk of this tax cut would go to the very top. A lot of it goes to the wealthiest 1% of all households. Folks making more than $3 million a year, the top 1/10 of 1%, would get a tax cut worth almost $250,000. Now think about that. Folks making $3 million a year or more would get $250,000 tax cut. But listen, it gets worse. Under my opponent's plan, who do you think gets the bill for these $250,000 tax cuts? You do. And you do not have to take my word for it. Just today, an independent, nonpartisan organization ran all the numbers on Governor Romney's plan. This wasn't my staff. This wasn't something we did. Independent group ran the numbers. They found that if Governor Romney wants to keep his word and pay for this plan, then he'd have to cut tax breaks that middle-class families depend on. To pay for your home, the home mortgage deduction. To pay for your health care, the health care deduction. To send your kids to college. That means the average middle-class family with children, according to this study, would be hit with a tax increase of more than $2,000. And here's the thing, he's not asking you to contribute more to pay down the deficit. He's not asking you to pay more to invest in our children's education or rebuild our roads or put more folks back to work. He's asking you to pay more so that people like him can get a big tax cut. In order to afford just one $250,000 tax cut for somebody like Mr. Romey, 125 families like yours would have to pay another $2,000 in taxes each and every year. Does that sound like a good plan for economic growth? Does that sound like a plan you can afford? How many of you want to pay another $2,000 to give Mr. Romey or me another tax break? Ohio, we do not need more tax cuts for folks who are already doing really well. We need tax cuts for working Americans. We need tax cuts for families who are trying to raise their children and keep them healthy and send them to college and put a roof over their heads. We don't need more tax cuts for companies that are shipping jobs overseas. We need tax cuts for companies that are creating jobs right here in the United States of America. That's the choice in this election. That's why I'm running for a second term as president of the United States. Mansfield, I've got a different plan for America than Mr. Romey's. 4 years ago, I promised to cut middle-class taxes, and that's exactly what I've done, by a total of about $3,600 for the typical family. Now, I want to keep income taxes exactly where they are on the first $250,000 of everybody's income. So if your family makes under $250,000 a year, which is 98% of American families, you won't see your income taxes increase by a single dime next year. Now, if you're fortunate enough to be in the other 2% of Americans, all we're asking you to do is contribute a little bit more. This includes me, by the way, so that we can pay down our deficit and invest in things like education that are going to help us grow over the long term.